Hello students, we are learning lesson number 6 life processes and this is video 5 of the lesson, and today we are going to discuss about activity 6.2 given on page number 97 of your textbook. And this activity shows that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Previously we have already seen the activity showing that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Today we will discuss carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Let's see it on page number 96, activity 6.2. Here we have to take one potted plant. We have to take two potted plants of the same type and keep it in the dark room for 3 days so that all the starch is used up by the plant to get energy. Then the same plant we have to take out from the dark room, and beside one of the plant we take a watch glass inside which we take the solution of potassium hydroxide. Now potassium hydroxide is a solution which absorbs carbon dioxide from its surrounding, and from another pot beside it we don't have to keep the plate containing potassium hydroxide, and both the plant we have to cover with bell jar. Bell jar means it is a transparent glass covering. Both the plants we have to cover with, and by covering both the plants we have to keep it in sunlight for 6 hours to see if the plants does the photosynthesis or not. Now in the first plant this potassium hydroxide plate is there, in the second plant, near the second plant it is not there. So after 6 hours when we remove the bell jar, after removing, then plug one leaf from pot A and the second leaf from pot B. Now both the leaves we have to boil in boiling water, and then secondly we have to keep it in the water bath in the container containing alcohol, same as previously we have done in chlorophyll. That's where we seen chlorophyll is necessary. So when we keep it in the alcohol, then the whole chlorophyll is removed from the leaves and the leaves becomes transparent white. Now both the leaves one by one simultaneously we have to dip it in the iodine solution to see that if the leaf of pot A contains carbohydrate or leaf of pot B contains carbohydrate. That means it has done photosynthesis or whether the B has done photosynthesis. So now we observe that in pot A the leaves which we are dipping in the iodine solution, it is not turning blue because it did not get carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It could not get, as all the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the potassium hydroxide plate. And in pot B carbon dioxide was trapped inside the bell jar and it has used the carbon dioxide. Because of that this leaves of the pot B, when it is dipped in the iodine solution, the leaves turns blue. That means where the carbon dioxide is absent, the leaves are unable to perform photosynthesis, and where the carbon dioxide is present, leaves could perform photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis, and this is in one of the question form. You have to write it in this way. Explain with an activity that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. To write the activity 6.2 of page 97 in the form of experiment, write the observation and conclusion too from the activity. Now our next topic will be explain the process of nutrition in amoeba. This is on page number 98, nutrition in amoeba. How do organisms obtain their nutrition? And here it is shown how the amoeba obtains the nutrition. Actually amoeba shows a holozoic mode of nutrition, and amoeba is a unicellular organism which can change its shape often when it is required. It changes its shape. It never have any fixed shape. So whenever the food is seen, now this red color thing is food and the amoeba is approaching the food, at that time it changes its shape. See the shape? It makes finger-like projection. Finger-like. For example, this is my finger, and if the amoeba does the finger-like projection to hold the things, for example, I am holding this pen between my fingers. So it makes a finger-like projection. This projection is called pseudopodia. Now between the pseudopodia it holds the food, and then the food, breaking the plasma through the pores of the plasma membrane, the food enters the cell and it closes the pseudopodia. And this is the process by which it holds the food inside the pseudopodia and it takes it inside the cell. Taking the food inside the cell is called ingestion. This is one of the part of the process. It's called ingestion. And then once the food enters the cell, it enters the food vacuole. Now, food vacuole contains digestive enzyme, and inside the food vacuole the food is broken down into smaller pieces. It is digested. This is digestion. When you draw the diagram, you have to label it in this way. The second one is ingestion, and this C is digestion. After digestion, some materials which could not be digested, it will remain inside the food vacuole, and whichever is digested, the digested particles comes out of the food vacuole. It spreads in the cell, and the cell absorbs the nutrients. It absorbs the nutrients, and from the nutrients the energy is released. That is, respiration is done. It is released. The releasing of energy from the nutrient is called assimilation. So the steps of the Holozoic nutrition shown in amoeba are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and at last whatever excretory substances are there, these excretory substances are discarded out of the body. That process is called egestion. Egestion. Now see how we have to write it in the Fair book in this form. Explain the process of nutrition in amoeba. So amoeba is a unicellular animal. Mode of nutrition is holozoic, and the process of obtaining food is called phagocytosis, means self-feeding. So the following are the events. First one is ingestion. Amoeba ingests the food particle by forming temporary finger-like projection called pseudopodia, and it takes it into a bag called food vacuole. Then digestion. In amoeba, food is digested in the food vacuole by digestive enzymes. Absorption. The digestive food found in the food vacuole is absorbed directly by cytoplasm by diffusion. That is, from the vacuole it comes out and absorbs in the cytoplasm. And assimilation. The part of the food absorbed in the cell is used to obtain energy through respiration. This is called assimilation. And egestion means throwing out the excretory substance out by rupturing the cell membrane. This is called egestion. And you have to draw this diagram from page number 98 while you write in the Fair book. For today, that's all, student. Bye. Goodbye.